almost. Right.
Now we're live. Hi,
Okay.
guys.
Hello, everyone.
So hi, everyone, and welcome all of you at our first live ASO audit session in 2020. My name is Anna, and I'm representing the ASO consulting department at AppFollow. And here with me is our friend and colleague from Phiture agency, Baptiste.
Yeah, so I'm working at Phiture as an ASO consultant, and I'm representing also the ASO team of Phiture.
Yeah. Guys, just feel free to say hi in the chat so we can understand that you can hear us well and see the screen well. While all guys are joining us by now, let us briefly discover our agenda. So it's a little bit differs from our past sessions because first couple of minutes we will focus on the brief recap of 2019 in terms of ASO, store changes, and what has changed, what has remained the same. And then we will highlight the new trends for 2020. And then we will continue with our live ASO audit session.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's time to start. So what are significant changes in 2019? So first of all, of course, it is speaking about the Apple. It is the release of iOS 13, which happened in September. And of course, now we have the beautiful dark mode. And since that time, it's better to take into account this dark mode in terms of how your creatives looks like in the app page. Then speaking further, the vertical screenshot size increased. So now they are a little bit more catchy and attractive in the search field in the App Store. Also, the new 2 blocks appeared on the product page of each application. We have now more by this developer block and also the apps you might like. These 2 blocks are quite new. So first of all, you can see the other applications from these developers. So this is a very good way to cross-promo your products. And the second one, the apps you might like, these applications are similar to this app category or the apps that's suggested by the store based on apps you already downloaded on your device. Speaking about the Google, first of all, it's of course the dark mode release. It happened a little bit, I think it happens in November or a little bit later, but still we already have this opportunity to test. And they redesigned the app page a little bit, so you can see the install button enlarge and it becomes bigger. So these slight changes we also have now. Also, the huge part that we have now is suggestions and recommendations. These blocks are provided by Google Play, and this is one of the reasons that browse traffic and explore traffic boosted significantly since the last year. Continue speaking about the changes. The screenshots is not more visible in the store search. So now if you're looking for some search requests as RPG, for example, as it's shown on the screen, you won't see any screenshots until you will type directly the brand name of the application. In this case, you will see the screenshots or the preview video that app has. Also, autoplay is also available for Google Play users. And this is a good tactic to increase the conversion rate for your application. And the last but not the least important thing is that thing that Google made with the rating and calculation of the rating. So the previous average rating took into account Android app ratings for all app versions, and the new one is calculating only by ratings from the last 30 days. So this is very important change that we're dealing now with, and actually it has pros and cons, but we need to understand that now this works like that. Okay, yeah. So now we're going probably to the trends, but if you have something to add?
No, I think like the rating thing is like a really like a big change. So that means that you can like basically rely on the previous ratings that you have on the app. You really need to make sure that you will answer the reviews, that you make sure that the rating is not dropping, because it will have like a huge impact then on the installs and the visibility.
True. Also,
Yeah.
of course, it's not all the changes that happened last year, because
Yeah.
like there are a lot of like more things. For example, remember the bug with subtitle in App Store, or this bug with traffic channel attribution in also in App Store.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened, but we will not focus on them today. And let us speak about the new trends that we will deal with in 2020.
Yes. So like the first thing is the conversion. So like the trend would be so recently in September, Apple started to roll out the new algorithm. They have done like an algorithm update that weights more like the conversion rates of the keyword. So basically, I think it will be like more and more important to kind of focus in terms of visibility on your keyword that is like converting a lot. So basically, you can have those data on the Apple search ads basically. And then for the dark mode, it's like the trends, but it's already live. But it's more in the sense of you should be aware that your user might actually, the App Store user might use the dark mode on both stores. And basically, like you need to keep in mind that the design that you're going to create for the store might have like might look not as good as your thought with like a dark background. So you need to find a way to kind of anticipate the fact that the user might be like in the normal mode or in the dark mode. And especially with the logo and the screenshot, obviously. So yeah, the rebranding, it's a bit related to the dark mode. It's also like the big brands are doing like their rebranding according to the dark mode, according to they try to follow like the ASO guidelines. And for instance, you can see that there's like a bunch of like new big brands that are like testing like the new logos with dark background, with the word mark or without. They're testing like different set of screenshots, and they try to basically rethink their branding with like an overall strategy, and not on the website or the app, but also on the store. And the last point is the third-party app store. So basically, so there is like Huawei. There's like some other app store, but this one they really like investing a lot in the store, and they try to basically pay like developers to build their app also on the Huawei store. Also, there is like a lot of big apps that's planning actually to not be available, not be for instance, on the App Store, in order to avoid, like for instance, like the 30% taxes, which is quite a lot. So we kind of like see that like the big brand that can actually leave the store. There are more and more like big companies that leave the App Store in order to have. So that means that you might apps on the smaller companies might have like more opportunity to grow on those two stores, for instance, Google and the App Store.
Nice. I very like the last point, because it's quite unique. Nobody really take into account this topic, but probably this will be a huge part of our next mobile industry steps, and we definitely need to deal with it. And also, like speaking about the trends, I think also the huge impact of traffic of browse and explore channels in both App Store and Google Play, it will increase steadily. So we already deal with this situation that the more traffic publishers get is coming from the browse channels, due to this huge amount of categories and personalization is coming from the stores. So guys, conversion rate optimization will take a huge place in 2020. And also the quality of the applications. This is the vital point we also need to hear, because Google and App Store both started to pay more attention to the quality applications. So first of all, you need to understand that your product is really good and you have nice statistic of crashes. I mean, there are none probably. And this is also a very important thing. and reputation management as well, as you already covered. Okay, guys, so
yeah, I think the crash thing is like really quite important, because I think I'm not sure it's the trend from 2020, but that Google especially, they try to get rid of the kind of like the bad apps in terms of quality. So like this kind of the crash rate is also something quite important. Also something that I forget to talk about is also like the payment methods. So there's more and more actually apps that try to, such as for instance Spotify, that try to not to go through the payment from Google, and they basically like redirect you directly to your to their website to pay, and also again to avoid paying the taxes from Google in this case. So yeah, that's also something that's coming like more and more, like to basically redirect the user when they have to pay at that web page of the company or something else, somewhere else.
very nice point. So let us start
Yeah.
our audit session, actually. Guys, to make all these choices, we have tons of apps submitted in our system. So to make this pickup choice more fair, we will use the randomizer to pick up the application. So everything is honest and fair. But first, two apps that we want to cover are also the apps that were submitted in our system, but we want to make more deep analysis for these two applications. So probably I will start with one of the Australian developer that submitted application in our form. So this is, I know the pilot application. It's a travel segment. Basically, I really like travels here, and I really like to analyze them, because it is like the competition in travel segments in both stores is very tough due to obvious reasons. So this application works only in Australia, only for Australian markets. And the first thing I want to admit here, and as soon as we're looking on the web page, on the app page in web, I mean, so what we can see here is the beautiful icon with the country code here on the right corner. Actually, this is a very good tactic to attract more users, because based on our experiments and A/B tests, using flags or country codes on the icons or on the other graphic assets works really good in terms of the conversion rate for particular markets. So, for example, if you have your application adapted for Brazilian markets and you put the Brazilian flag on the icon, most likely, if you will run A/B test, it will win with a huge result in the conversion rate. So this thing I really like here. So, and also you can easily understand that this application is focused on Australian market. So the same thing we can see on the screenshot. I think it is very hard to create something new after all these years of travel apps application in the App Store. But these screenshots are very readable and very understandable in terms of they have catchy slogans like cheap flights, select your airport. They clearly describe all the features that application has. This is a very good way to introduce your app in the store search, because you can see on the first three screenshots if there is no video, as we can see here, there is no video in this product page view. So this screenshot, first of all, describes the main features of the application, which is very good, and also describes the interface of the application. Apple really likes this tactic, so the graphic assets is very, I think, is very prepared very well. But to understand the search visibility and the search results in the App Store, I want to dive more deeply into this analysis. So here we can see our ASO dashboard. Also, guys, please do not be shocked of this new information. So for those our clients who already use our ASO dashboard, this information is brand new. Very soon we will release this for all our customers, but now it's our beta version. So please don't pay attention to here. This is our ASO dashboard, and the score that we have here is 9,000, almost 10,000 actually. This is the score of I know the pilot application in Australian market. So we can easily compare this performance with other applications of this segment. So I added here the Skyscanner app, Qatar Airways, cheap flights, travel in Australia. So I added already some competitors, and here we can easily compare the score that our application has with other competitors. So what we can see here, it's somewhere in the middle. So it means that there are ways to increase the search visibility. As we can see here on the page, these guys are using keywords very well because they have cheap flights, which definitely has a huge popularity on the market. And also cheap hotels. So they are already took into account these keywords tactic in the store. But this score means that guys have some work to do with this search visibility score. Actually, what I suggest is that here we have the Australian market. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but still, we cannot know for sure whether the guys using the UK local. But I think if we check it online, the application, yeah, probably the application is not open for this region due to obvious reasons. But the United Kingdom local is indexed in the Australian market. So probably if you fill this local with keywords, for example, like cheap flights or some other keywords, you will increase your search popularity and the score will increase. Also, speaking about the positions that are already taken by some keywords I already added into our account, here we can easily navigate and understand the situation dividing by top. So for example, here we can see that only 5 keywords are ranked in top 5 and only 29 keywords are ranked in top 5. So here is also the place you need to understand, you need to not to fix, but probably try to boost the ranks on the important keywords, so to gain more traffic from the search channel. So actually, Baptiste, you also have picked up an application to review first before we will go to...
Yeah, so let me share my screen. Oops.
Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us in the chat. We'll focus on them during the speech.
Yeah, so I choose GetYourGuide. It's also a bit related to the pilot apps in terms of the competitor. So first of all, I would check the icon. As I was saying, it's quite interesting to run some tests about in which local you have the app. The app is available. I think it's also interesting to have an experiment and test if by adding, for instance, like GetYourGuide, like the watermark to the icon, you can increase the conversion. In some cases, not all of them. It's also interesting to add the date, the year. So, you know, in some app, well, it's more for I would say like the security apps where basically you will say, in order to show that the app is up to date, you will add a little like 2020 to the icon. So yeah, I would suggest to first like to test the icon, because maybe like some people don't know the app already, or they know the brand but they don't know the logo. So that would be interesting to test that. Then I think that in terms of the title, it's might be optimized in terms of like the tickets. Might be like the main activity of, it's actually the main activity of GetYourGuide. So for the title, it's important to target like the high search popularity keywords, but also to explain what is the app about. So you need to find the right balance between those two. So in this case, activity tickets and sightseeing tours are relevant, but are relevant. Then for the subtitle, for the short description, it's actually quite interesting also, in the sense of they basically list the different activity and the different place where you can go, such as museum, attraction, tours. I would suggest maybe to add maybe more keywords related to the activity of GetYourGuide. I'm pretty sure that they have like a bunch of different activities. It's also something that you can test like really easily on the Play console to test like different like short description. Then if we look at the video, so the main problem that I have with the video is that on Play Store is like it's hosted by YouTube, which means it's not like native. And that means that basically when you click on the video, you're kind of like redirected to outside of the store. So that might lead actually to like a decrease, or you might like drop, you might like lose the user. So I won't recommend to have a video on Play Store. Then regarding the screenshots, they look nice. They look nice actually. But the problem that I see here, I see like a couple of problems, is that we don't see properly the UI. It's kind of like you have to turn the head to see properly. So it looks nice. But yeah, it's kind of hard to see what is like inside the UI inside the app. Also, they have kind of like connected screenshots, which means that if you want to do like some tests on the screenshot order, for instance, like if you want to test like which feature of your app is performing better, you will want to move maybe like the screenshot order. And in this situation, in this case, if you change the order, it will mess more or less like the connection that you have right now. I will also make maybe like the caption at the top a bit bigger, because when you're on your phone, it's not very, it's actually quite small. Yeah, and the idea of having like some screenshots that are like not connected is like really to allow you to really test some different order, test some different feature. So that's very useful. Also, like the last screenshot is kind of like it's like a photo one. So I would suggest maybe to test having this screenshot on the first position instead of the video, and trying like different value proposition, or trying like different tone of voice, highlighting one special offer on the special localization, for instance. It's really like a place where you can try some stuff, especially in the case of GetYourGuide. When you have like a big app with like a lot of users and lots of new installs, you can definitely A/B test like quite easily, and I have like enough data after 1 week. So it's quite like useful to do some A/B testing. But if you are in the case, or let's say a lot of maybe GetYourGuide in Japan, let's say, maybe not like their bigger market, so it might take like longer to have like enough data to run your A/B test. So I would suggest to do some really like radical change instead of just like doing like some small iteration. And then maybe one thing, so if, for instance, we're going to see if they are localized their content. So it seems that they have the same content for all of the locals. What I mean by the content is like they basically just translated the caption, also the app. Actually, the app is not translated. So I would actually try to test like actually different UI. So like for instance, you can test like if you look at the first screenshot here, you have Rome. So that would be interesting maybe to look in the database and check which destination is the best destination to, I don't know, like Japanese people or English people and so on, and to change like the UI and put like, I don't know, like Eiffel Tower, for instance, or really try to adapt to the localization. So it's the case for this first screenshot, but that would be actually the case for all of them. So that would be like a test, but that would be also like a way to really stick with this local and not just like translating it. And then I think I will finish on this thing. And also something that is important is actually English is actually answering to review. So I noticed that for the English market, GetYourGuide is actually answering to only the bad reviews. It's actually it would be actually quite interesting to answer also to the good reviews, because you show that you are like present, that you are involved, and you're not just trying to solve the problem, but you're also here with your customer. So that would be like one way. Also, obviously, if you can try to answer the review with the language. Like, so in French, you will answer in French, for instance. And it seems like, for instance, for GetYourGuide, they are not answering to reviews in French. So the idea would be to do it for all of the locals. And yeah, that would be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baptiste, for this audit. So we have a couple of questions in the chat that I want to focus on. So the guy is asking, like, if UK ASO content is exactly the same as US content, does it has any changes? If, as far as I understood the question, please tell if it's not right. You're asking about the App Store of Google Play first. If we're thinking about the Google Play, there are no regions division. All the users will see those store pages, which language is set on their device. So, for example, if the client use UK language as a main language of the device, they will see the UK App Store page if it exists. So if you have only default US store page, all English speaker or all users which has English as a main language, they will see only the US page. So probably if it is so as far as your question, yes, in your case, US localization will be enough for such kind of performance. In the App Store, UK local is not indexed for US region. This is an exception. So if you have two regions as a main, for example, the US region and UK region separately, so it's better to provide two localization, at least in the search terms by keywords. So create probably different sets of keywords and this text metadata, because it really influences on the search. But in terms of graphic, it doesn't matter. But still, you need to A/B test. Okay.
Yeah, and then there was like another question from Subash. I would like to know how to measure the impact of keyword experiments. How long should we run such experiments? So I would say that for Google Play, you will need to wait like 2 weeks. For the Play Store, you need to wait 2 weeks before measuring the impact. Also, something that is important. So like in this case, you will, for instance, like you're talking about like changing the title or the long description in this case. I would suggest not to run any short description at the same time to make sure that it doesn't influence the result. So if, for instance, you're implementing like if you're planning to optimize like your long description on the Play Store, you will implement the long description and you will do it like for, let's say, 2 weeks in order to let the time that the algorithm like index the new keywords. And then after 2 weeks, you measure the results. Same for the title.
Okay, guys, feel free to ask all the questions. We will return to them at the end of the session. Now let us randomly pick the app from the submission list. So we have it here, and let us generate the number that we will take. So it's 41. Now we're going here in our list, and this is a Google Play app. Let us open it here. Testbook app, as I can see from the APK name. Just a second. So, okay, what we can see here. As far as I understand from the text data, this is application which helps to prepare from the exams and tests. Speaking about speaking about, and it's free, as we can see on the icon. Speaking about the text metadata, the keywords, probably we cannot check the keywords popularity here, but there are no duplication here. But for Google, remember, it is important to understand the difference between App Store and Google Play. In Google, it is necessary to repeat some keywords, some relevant and some high popular keywords twice or even 3 times, not in the row, of course, but mixing them in the app name or in the subtitle. For example, if exam preparation is really high popular keyword, probably it works to repeat it in the short description. So here we can see the numbers. Actually, the numbers usually have a good conversion, because if you A/B test the subtitle, the short description with the numbers and without, probably you will see the difference. Based on my practice, it works quite good. Also, we have here lots of join 1 core plus students. Probably it is worth to add some more relevant keywords. For example, the subjects that you have the test on, for example, math or some other ones. Probably they are listed here, but if you have, you need to check the popularity of such keywords as, for example, math exams or some kind of subject exams. Probably this will be a good keywords. But what can you say about the graphic aspect?
Yeah, I was actually so just opening from my side. 41 up, action, enable screen sharing. So first of all, I like the free, as Anna said. I think it's a nice way to display some information about it. I would also like to test some other different variant for that. For the logo, I will also try to. Actually, it's the first time that I see like it's more or less like a kind of like a social proof on the icon. It's quite interesting. I never saw that before, and it's more or less related to the kind of like the 2020 that said that your app is up to date. So I will do like some more testing on the textbook, especially as we said that the dark mode might come. So with the white background for the logo, that might be a problem in the future. Here for the screenshots, yeah, same for like the video. Same problem that the video is not native, so which means that basically you will be like redirected to YouTube, so it's maybe not the most efficient. Then here I like the pop out here. It's actually something that it's quite interesting to test, to highlight one specific part of the UI. So in this case, I don't know if it's the
comments are not really readable due to the font color.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and the text is actually quite small in the UI. So yeah, in this case, I would try to maybe push the device a bit to the bottom of the screenshot and make like the caption for the value proposition at the top like way bigger. I will also reduce as a general tip, having like a short value proposition on top of the screenshot is like more interesting and more valuable, such as like one app for all exam that you see like on the first screenshot. And then I will try also like to show like some UI that is so like instead of download video and watch offline anytime, anywhere, you could try also to show what is it actually inside.
So it's just really hard to understand what app is about looking at on the screenshots.
And here, so I don't know if it's, so it seems that there is like some Indian, it's written in India, you see, so I would change it to make it English.
Actually, app is very popular. It has more than, app is very popular. It has more than 5 million downloads overall.
Yeah, it's quite big. I will also try to test. So there's like a lot of downloads, so which means that you can easily do some A/B testing. So I would suggest also to try like the different order of the screenshot to see if, for instance, I'm not sure like this one is the more valuable. So based actually on the research that you will do on the keyword, the keyword research that you will do, you will see like which keywords are actually bringing some traffic, and based on that, you can adapt which screenshot you want to see like in first position, or what kind of value proposition makes sense based on your keyword research, for instance. So that would be also like a suggestion from my side. And overall, you have to keep in mind that the user will see like obviously the screenshot on his app, and in this case, as Anna was saying, it's actually quite small and we don't see it properly. So we try to make the device bigger and have having maybe like a pop out like you have on the first screenshot. Maybe here on some other part on the other screenshots. So I think that would be, and again, I'm saying that, but always like trying to test. It's and I don't know if maybe it's an Indian app.
Sure. So let's moving forward actually, because we're a bit limited on time. So let us pick the next application here. Wait, so everyone can see my screen, and the next app is number 19. So this is App Store. Let us open it here, and just a couple of minutes, we'll download. So yeah, guys, we will review the games, but the random Google said that we will first focus on this application. We will pick up the games definitely a little bit later. So this is the travel application as well. So we already reviewed one of this kind of application before. What we can see here, first of all, guys, taking care about their community and reputation management. We can see here the developer response, all these featured reviews, there are only 2 of them, are here, and they are with response. This is a very good, because when people see that you are taking care about their opinion, they can first of all change their rating further, or just like change the attitude toward your application. So speaking about the optimization, I'm not sure that which region we have here, the United States. I'm not sure that the United States is the key region for this application, but guys are using travel, maps offline, the huge keywords here. Also, they listed discover, plan, navigate keywords here. Just be careful, because Apple now restricted this kind of division of keywords in the subtitle. So take into account that these kind of subtitles can be rejected, because Apple do not like when you use just spam with the keywords. So please take care of this also. The screenshots are nice, but what do you think?
I think I will try to. It's the same. I mean, like if your brand is not like very famous, I will try to add the name of your brand to test if by adding the word mark you can increase the conversion. So that would be like something really important to test. Or also testing like what kind of giving like the fact that it's like a travel map. So maybe you can give more information around this. So if it's not the brand, so there might be, you know, like a little banner at the bottom that said there is like a travel maps offline or something like that. So something to test, to have more information, especially when the user are actually browsing into like the category, for instance. You don't have so many information. So if you have more information icon, you can also drive more installs. Then in terms of the screenshot, I think they are pretty good. They're pretty good. I liked also the fact that they're switching between like dark mode and the normal mode. The value proposition at the top are like really short, big. So it's like, yeah. They also have like different colors. So they're not like linked together. So that means that they can change the order to test like which value proposition, which feature is working best. I like also the fact that the two first screenshots are kind of it's like the splash screenshot. So that so basically the user will see like the first three screenshots, and you can use actually the two first screenshots to display like to show like a bigger UI, or to display like some value proposition, or to show like something a bit different than just the UI. So I like this thing. I also noticed that there is the app preview at the beginning.
Yes,
so indeed,
it's like, yeah, Stormaven crashed.
they said that, yeah, on Stormaven we can see that there is a preview, but so I think that's the case. But something important that you need to keep in mind is that that's a bit chilly actually. If you implement like an app preview, you will need to actually localize the app preview for all of the markets that you're available. So that's something you have to keep in mind, because they will basically upload, say for the US, they will basically show this app preview to all of the markets that you're working in. So, I mean, if for instance you have like you're working on a Japanese market as well, the Japanese people, the user will actually see the app preview in English. So it's something that you need to keep in mind when you develop like an app preview.
That's true. Let us move forward while we're picking the new application. Guys, for United States region, yes, Mexico local is also work. So when you make your text optimization, take into account this local as well, so you can enlarge your keywords fields like twice. So do not forget to use Mexico local as well. Let us take the second application just near this we just picked here, not via randomizer, but as itself. It's also a Google app. The region is US, as we can see here, and this is the game. So the ASO for the games is a little bit different from the utility apps, because you need to pay more attention to the graphic due to obvious reasons. And like based on our experience, the more traffic for games is coming from the browse channel. So the graphic assets is the first thing that you need to take care of. It's the constantly A/B testing, finding the new hypotheses and tactics, probably spying on your competitors and looking on the trends at the market itself. So here we have Bounce That Bird Platform Jumper is a casual game. For hyper casual game, for example, it's not really necessary to make the text ASO, but for casual games, it still has a huge impact on the search discovery. So the screenshots I will leave to Baptiste, the review of the screenshots, but I think they're very nice due to they show the interface, and I like the pattern under the slogans. This is a good tactic to highlight.
I agree. I think it's also very important to have like in this case, like to have the video, even if it's on the Play Store, because you need to show the gameplay, which is super important for the gaming apps. Then for the gaming, it's important to show different kind of things. So, for instance, the achievement. So, for instance, you have the bounce that bird that to play to show. Basically, you have like different kind of way to optimize the screenshot. You can show like the screenshot in a specific order that is like kind of like logical in terms of experience. You know, when the user like start the app and then start basically playing and then reach some level. So you want to show to the user that he will reach like a certain level and then he will have like those rewards and so on. So I think it's actually pretty good here.
And also the highlighting of these figures is very important for the games, especially for this genre. Probably you need to expand this tactic on other screenshots and, for example, cover some extra features that you also have, despite the levels thing. Probably the difference of the ball. So, for example, 1,000 covers for the ball or appearance of this ball, or just different landscapes. So if you use these highlighting figures in the screenshot, probably you need to try to expand this on other screenshots as well.
Yeah, it's actually, are you talking about the highlight on the 100 plus levels, Anna?
Repeat the question.
Yeah. Are you talking on the 100 plus level, like the highlight on this? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that you can also apply to all of the kind of apps, like super valuable to basically like highlight like one keyword that actually your user are looking for. So based again on the research that you're going to do on the keyword optimization side, you will highlight like one specific part of the value proposition. So that's something that is good. Also, something that is also good, pretty good in terms of gaming is basically give a bit of understanding of what is like where like the game is like taking place, give a bit of background of the game. I would also, in this case, zoom a little bit in the game to show a bit more of like, you know, like the character or like the little ball, because it seems to be a bit small. But yeah, apart from that, it's actually pretty good.
And like moving to the icon, I think it's very dynamic, and the thing that this thing is should convert well, but still at least you can test the different backgrounds. For example, now you have light green ones. Probably you can just experiment and A/B test different background colors, so you can understand which color attracts the most. And like the thing that I want to add here actually was about the short description thing. So first of all, of course, for games, short description is more. It's more not about search, but more about the conversion rate. So probably you don't need to increase the symbols amount up to 80, because as I can see now, it's less than the maximum amount. But what you can test here as well, it's the emoji. So for games, emoji, sometimes for different regions, it converts very good, and it's definitely one point for growth in this context, I think.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting to test the emoji. We are like also like testing the emoji not only for like gaming company. In some case it works. Depend also on the localization. And then maybe like one last comment on the screenshot. I would also maybe add like one screenshot on the, you know, when you kind of like have a bonus or you reach like a certain level, or you for the reach level, we already have it here. But basically when you, I don't know, like in a bonus mode, or you have like something a bit different than the normal experience of the game, because it's also part of the experience when you play games, basically. Yeah, and that will be it from my side.
The reviews quickly. So not that much, but also there is a developer response here. For games, this is also a huge part of working with reputation management, because especially for this casual category, there are a lot of negative reviews that developers are receiving, unfortunately, but this is the real life. So if you're taking care of them like that, responding them, it may influence on the changing of this stars rating in the future. So this is a very good that you're taking care of this negative reviews. Hope that in future there will be less of them. Okay.
Yeah, and in terms of, yeah, sorry, you wanted to say something? Yeah, in terms of like a general strategy, like it really not depend on finds for every apps. Basically, you have like a lot of tools that exist. AppFollow, where basically you will add all of your competitors, and you will basically like monitor the competitor that are actually doing some ASO. There's like some quick way to say if. To see if actually they are doing some ASO, if they're changing like the screenshot like really often, if they're changing the short description. So if you can basically find a way to target your competitor, they're having like more or less the same app than you, then you'll be able actually to target to find like some relevant keywords that you're basically your competitor are ranking for, and also like the different kind of screenshot that they're using. So like in this case, for instance, like it really showed the gameplay, but maybe, I don't know if you look at, I don't remember like this game, Flappy Bird, like maybe like Flappy Bird, you know, you can get like some inspiration in terms of graphics from Flappy Bird in order to show like different, to show obviously the gameplay, but also like show like some different thing and do also like some storytelling. So yeah, I mean, like in general recommendations, really look at your competitor, try to really to monitor those who do like some ASO, and try to basically like take the best from them.
But not to copy.
Not to copy. Yeah,
let us move forward. So 78 number. This is App Store up. Ben, are you here with us today? If yes, please feel free to write in the chat. So here we have Postsnap, the postcard app. This application is quite unique, I think. Wait, let us just briefly check the full description so to understand what application features are key. Wait a second. So postcard app offers no subscription. So probably, let us imagine that I'm just a user who scroll in the search. So what I can see as a user on the app page, send pay as you go postcards. So taking account that I have no information about what this application is about, it is really hard to understand what basically can I do via this application in real life. So it's something connected with the postcards, sending photo postcards and print.
Yeah, I think it's also like maybe the way this is like send and pay as you go. I think it's not the same sentence. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but
yeah. So first thing that is catching in the eyes is that it's not really obvious what app is about, despite the postcard thing. So probably you should more clearly define the key feature of your application via the first screenshot or via subtitle, because even the subtitle here is send photo postcards and prints, but send postcard via application or via real post office or how it works. So probably due to limitations in symbols here, probably you need to describe and discover this feature on the first screenshots, because now it's not really clear, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then totally agree, Anna. I mean, it's super important to really optimize like the first three screenshots. Like the first thing that we actually see when we on your app is actually the stuff like the value proposition at the bottom left on the first screenshot. So it's not very clear on this side. So that might be interesting to adapt to make it more clear. I really like the on the second screenshot, like the social proof. It's also something like very valuable and really interesting to test. In some cases, depends on the localization, might not work, but in most cases, it's actually work.
Clear by whom this rating is, because it's really small fonts. So probably if you want to highlight also the agency or the source that gave you such 5-star rating. Probably it's necessary to enlarge the font so to make this information also easy to read.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and on the same topic, actually, like for instance, if you look on the fifth, sixth, the easy payment thing, so the value proposition is clear. You have like this kind of like subtitle under like the easy payment. It would be interesting to test with only easy payment or with the kind of like subtitle or without, in order to see if you can make the caption bigger and make it more like obvious. And same as Anna was saying, also if you look at the UI, it's like super small. So it's like either like you show like half of the device and you then will be able like to show like the text, the different postcard like a bit bigger, or you make you do like kind of like a pop out where one pop out on the first postcard in order to see like the UI. But yeah, I mean, it's like in terms of like design, in graphic design, super nice. Even like the two screenshots at the first position, the splash screenshot, like this kind of like the photography that you have on the two first screenshot, like quite interesting, because you can also actually test pretty easily like different kind of photographies in order to see if you can improve like the conversion. Then for the icon, again, the dark mode. So you need to keep in mind that there is also the dark mode. For the screenshots, actually, that's also the same issue. So when the people are like in the dark mode and they have like the white background at the top, that might be a bit strange regarding the contrast. And for the icons, I would also suggest to try with the word mark, saying like Postsnap, the postcard app or something like that. Basically, like trying to either like show the brand or explain what kind of app it is in the icon. And yeah.
Speaking about the keywords, it's not necessary to duplicate keywords in App Store in app name and subtitle, so you can save your space, for example, in subtitle field, and fill it with more keywords. So this is not really good way to use this symbols amount in the metadata in App Store.
Yeah.
Okay, let us pick the next app from the chat. Let us take the last one they sent. Just a second. It's a Google Play application, and this is Vocabulary Builder, a very popular theme now. Since yesterday, I was taking the subway and I saw the guy who was playing this game, and after that I downloaded the application just by the logo that I saw. So this topic is actually
it's like vocabulary builder.
Mm-hmm. As far as I understand, this application is about connecting the words from the field. But I'm not sure that this is the same application that I was talking about. Unlock exciting boosters. So once again, we have the small issue here that's probably we cannot understand clearly what the application, what this application is about. Just having a quick glance on the App Store page, and this is a very important to catch the user's attention from these first 2 seconds while they are browsing or searching. So. Going deeper, this application is, so this is a game, catching the words before it disappears. Probably this is an education game with some levels and rewards, as we can see on the screenshots.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And this.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, sorry.
Go on.
Okay, so yeah, as Anna said, it's not very clear. So actually, in fact, the title is actually quite clear. Vocabulary Builder game. So that would be actually interesting to add actually vocabulary builder game as a banner into the icon to really make it like a bit more obvious as a test again. And then I will also try to maybe put the emoji somewhere else and try to have like the emoji somewhere, because as Anna said, that make it like obvious that it's like kind of like an educational game. I will try to maybe put boss without this emoji and put it like somewhere else.
And you need to update the year because it's already 2020.
Yeah,
here in the short.
Can try. That's true. That's true. Attention to detail. And then I would. I really like the fact, something that we didn't talk about before, is the the boss levels. Is also something that is quite important actually to put like when you do some optimization of the gaming, because it's also like a huge part of the game experience. Is like you will reach like some level that are like harder to get. Yeah, and I will try also to try some variant with and without emojis, but I don't know if actually the emojis are part of the UI or of the app or not.
And guys, you definitely need to understand your audience, because if your audience is, for example, 30 plus, probably you need to test more, not that bright screenshots as an idea, because your product metrics really influence on the product page in the app stores and on the market strategy as it is. So now, as I can see, the audience of this application is quite young. Probably I can mistake, but reviewing this store page, I can make such suggestions. Baptiste, what do you think about the audience of this application?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like for young people or for people that want to, foreign people that want to learn, for instance, like more vocabulary in English, for instance. But yeah, I agree that based on the audience, you should adapt the kind of like the tone of voice, but it's also something that you can test. But I got the feeling that you just released this app, first release here. So actually it would be hard to A/B test. So I would suggest to do more like some radical change, or either like changing like the color, or even changing everything, or like keep, if you're changing the thing, if you want to do C/A/B testing, it will be like super actually difficult to have like enough data as you just started. So in this case, you should keep that like it is, because like the small changes won't have like such a big impact regarding the screenshots. On the icons, it might be more interesting. Also, I like the more like coming soon. It's actually what some apps are actually doing is that on the first screenshot, or like the first two screenshots, usually they use this space to kind of like promote the new feature that they will have, or like if they have like a special offer or something like that, saying, okay, we have like this trial for like free trial for 30 days and something like that. So you can use the first screenshot as a kind of like a promote, in order to promote like some special feature or special offer. If, for instance, like it's like a new game, maybe you want to promote that. Okay, so if you download this app like within in this month, for instance, you can have like a discount when you buy like a a specific pack. Yeah, that's one example.
Always connect your products updates with the graphic. So let us move forward, and I picked up the app from the chat also. Wait a second, it's a Google Play. It's
which
CATFALL.
one is it? CATFALL.
Yeah, Leo is here with us today. So let us review this application, CATFALL. So as we can see on the from the app name, there are no keywords and nothing actually except the brand name. Sometimes this tactic is nice, speaking about the brand awareness and brand loyalty, but you need to test it, because this
when you are like a big brand.
Yes, because probably if you're just a small brand by now, or trying like to develop your application, it's better to use this space to increase your search visibility. But taking into account your conversion rate and always track all these changes, how it influence on the CR and etc. But still, I would like to recommend you to expand this app name with some keywords, at least 2 or 3, 1. Yep.
Yeah, I would. Yes, I don't know how you call that kind of game, but that would be nice to add either like the brand or either like what kind of game it is on the icon. I would, in terms of the screenshots, I would actually the screenshot that you have like at the end are maybe more interesting than the screenshot that you have at the beginning because you have like more information.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, like something that you don't show before is like the touch anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something that would be interesting to share like at the beginning of the screenshots because, you know, like the user are like basically, you have, I don't know what is the percentage, but you have like between like 10 to 30% that scroll after like the next 3 screenshots.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just get the feeling that the screenshots are quite similar and they don't bring so much value.
Yeah.
The first screenshot, so you would be interesting to first add like a little text to explain what is the goal or what is the explain a bit about the game. Maybe show like the different levels that you can have, like the different achievement, the reward and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there is a thing that Google can extract some words from the graphics, from the screenshots and the icons. So if you put some keywords on the screenshots as slogans, Google can index your application by these words. This is quite a new feature that Google have, but still you need to probably take into account this suggest.
Yeah, and also I think that also something that we didn't mention, but when you do like a long description, you can actually optimize like the first paragraph and the last one. What I meant by optimizing, I mean like stuffing basically the first paragraph with as many keywords as possible, based obviously on the search volume and the research that you've done before. So that's important to keep that in mind. I'm saying that because in this case you explain, you do like a little bit of storytelling about the game, but you don't explain how to play, what is the different features, if you have like some additional stuff that you need to buy, stuff like that. So.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that we also missed is the Google Natural API instrument that Google released last year. From the English, it works only for English by now. But this instrument allows you to understand the coefficient of the natural score of your long description. So if you're optimizing your application for English-speaking countries, it is worth to understand which score you already have and to improve it at least to 0.7 or even more coefficient. So it's Google Natural Language API. You can easily Google it. This is a very nice instrument, and based on our practice and our tests, those applications which has this score 0.7 and above, they have better index in the store. So this is also important speaking about the full description.
Yeah.
So
maybe we can. I saw like in the chat that there is like someone who's talking about like a B2B iPad app.
Yeah.
That might be interesting also to talk about, like to kind of like have more like variety.
Mm-hmm. Can you open the link of this application?
Yeah, actually I will just take Qminder. I will share.
Guys, all these applications that were submitted to our session will automatically include in our next session, which probably will be held in April, if I'm not mistaken, but we will announce it in advance. So you can let us know if you need this audit faster. Just ping us.
Yes. So regarding this B2B app, first of all,
It's an iPad, yes.
iPad, yeah. That's why we can't have like an overview of the app on the side. Yeah, first of all, the logo. I think it doesn't make sense to like these little tickets that you have at the bottom is like a nice idea, but it's actually quite hard to see what is written for service center Jane. But that might be interesting to either have it flat in order to see it, like see everything that there is like on this ticket, or maybe remove it. But I mean, again, you should like make it more obvious there is like a kind of visitor wait line manager. That's something that would be quite interesting to have it as a banner in order to give more information to your user, especially if it's like a B2B app.
Are you sure that the United States is the main market for this kind of application? Because I can see only 5 reviews. There is. I think I saw the app owner in the chat. So please, if we need to focus on different region, just type the necessary one in the chat. Probably US is not the key. US, but okay.
Yeah, it's a B2B app, so maybe it's not the most. Yeah, in terms of screenshots, I would say that the design are actually pretty nice.
I like how they connected with each other.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Same in this case. I mean, if you have a connected device and you don't have like a lot of users, that means that you won't basically do a lot of A/B testing because it will take like a while to get some results. So maybe the thing that I would change would be maybe like this quote that you have like from the business strategist iShop Guatemala, because it's kind of small. And I'm wondering if it's actually would be interesting to have it like on the first screenshot, as it's like obviously like a positive quote that can bring like some new user into your app. I will also try to make the value proposition a bit bigger. So in this case, like equip staff with data, learn more, and so on. Great visitor with self-service. I will try to make it a bit bigger, as well as the brand name. Yeah. Do we have something else here?
Actually, the good comment is that the business clients don't have time to review the app page and application. So probably based on this strategy, you need to highlight your brand more than it did now. Just like to make this brand more visual, so clients who already heard about you as a service, they can easily understand that, oh, this is application that I was looking for, and just easily download it, not to dive deeper in the screenshots, etc.
Yeah, and there's also you have like this in-app prompt native on iOS that you can set, and you can basically say, okay, like within the product, within your app, you can say at this time, if the user is coming back, let's say like 5 times, then you will send him like a prompt, then invite him to basically rate your apps. So that would be also one way to have like more ratings. And for the reviews, you could also try to create like some in-app some way into your app in order to read the store and give like some feedback, like a lot of apps are doing in order to get some traction in your app.
Yes, at least you will increase your rating and like the amount of reviews and rating overall. This is a good point.
Yeah. And like the only difference between Play Store and App Store is that I think it's really native on the Play Store and the App Store. So you can really from the App Store Connect you can do it, and for not from Apple, and for on Google on the Play Store you need to build it yourself. Yeah. What else?
So the full description is quite well organized. I mean, they have bullet points, so clients, probably B2B clients, pay more attention to the full description, and they really want to understand what service is about. So probably you will structurize the first part of your full description via bullets and via some points that will be just easily to read. So you have it now at the end of your full description, so probably you will organize the first part as well, so it will attract more understanding of the users, that they will get what app is about.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so guys, we are already running out of time. For those guys who are still interested in audits and reviews, feel free to ping both of us to get some insights or feedbacks regarding your applications. I hope you enjoyed our session today. As I already told, we are making them quite constantly, so we will announce the next session soon. So feel free to join us.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.